Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So when you clicked on this video, you probably thought this was some serious clickbaiting, right? This is not clickbaiting. This is absolutely real. Today we are going to talk about this. This potentially could be an alien body. And I'm sure some people are like, okay, wacko, sounds good. I'm gonna sit here and laugh at you. I promise you, when you hear the facts behind this, you're gonna be pretty mind blown. Many of you guys know that I believe in aliens 100%. And I think that we have been sheltered a lot from the truth about aliens and what our government knows. I personally, and you may think this is a little crazy if you haven't, researched this much, but I personally think that the government knows that there's aliens, that they have visited our planet, that we possibly will have an encounter. And if you look at our past, there are a lot of ancient cultures who have depicted aliens or talked about aliens, and I think it's very possible that this body could really be a body of an alien. Now, I know so many people don't believe in aliens, and that's okay. We have been conditioned as a society to think they're scary, that they would come down and take over the world, and so a lot of people just tune it out, or they can't even go there. They can't even think about it because it freaks them out so bad, and I understand that. It is a little, I think anything unknown is a little freaky. But if you don't believe in aliens, please watch this documentary, okay? I just watched this last week. It just came out in May. It's called Unacknowledged.
How do you keep something secret? You hide it in plain sight.
People have been attempting to conceal this knowledge.
Well, you're going to tell the public about it. And he says, no, we don't tell the public about this.
If you look at the document sent to J. Edgar Hoover, 3 so-called flying saucers had been recovered in New Mexico. It has become the #1 document viewed on the FBI website. If people think that it's just the UFO issue, they're gravely mistaken.
The moon of Mars. There's a very unusual structure. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there?
If you tell anyone about this project, this bullet has your name on it, and it will find you.
And it features a man named Dr. Greer. Okay, so this is Dr. Greer. Dr. Greer has become quickly one of my favorite people. He is a very interesting person. I believe it's available on iTunes and Amazon. I'm not sure if it's gonna be anywhere else or how else you can find it, but Google it. It is such a good documentary. It will leave you so mind blown. I couldn't even function the next day because I was like, my whole life is a lie. My whole life is a lie. But there was also a documentary with Dr. Greer in it. I think it came out in 2013, I wanna say, and it's called Sirius, but a lot of it is about this alien body that has been found.
This is what we call the Atacama humanoid.
Dr. Greer is not some wacko off in a lab somewhere. This guy is legit, okay? He is actually a founder of the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence and the Disclosure Project. He has briefed many presidents, many military generals. He's a real doctor, and he has been trying to raise awareness and spread the truth about aliens for a really long time. And he's even briefed people like Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. And we're going to be talking about this body, which is called the Atacama. And it's actually because it was found in Chile in the desert, in the Atacama Desert. And looking at it, you may think, wow, someone pulled off an excellent hoax here. What beautiful craft that thing is. No, this thing contains human DNA, a lot of it, and is completely unexplained by scientists.
First of all, I don't know what it is. Every scientist has looked at it and says, oh my God, it looks like an alien. Well, perhaps, we don't know. It's a mystery. It's an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
Some people have said, well, maybe it is human, an old human. And okay, first of all, so weird that it's been preserved so long. There are estimates that it is a couple hundred years old, if not a lot longer than that. Or I've heard some people say that it may even be only a century old. So one of the weirdest things about it is it has 10 ribs, which if you didn't know, the human body has 12 ribs. And there's some cases of them finding people who have 11 ribs, but it's very rare to find anything with 10 ribs. This was found in 2003 and it has been passed around by scientists all over the world. It's only 15 centimeters, so like 6 inches. It is tiny. It is like this big, dude. This big. That big. And it's also really weird is it has 3 times the cranium space than a human does. Like from the eyebrows up, the capacity of our head, it is 3 times as large as our own head. So this, how can this be a human, right? Now, no one has been able to prove what this is, so it is completely open for interpretations. As always, I want to hear your thoughts below. And I know it looks like a really good movie prop, but first of all, this thing was self-preserved. It was just found in the desert. It's survived its body is completely intact. They did a CAT scan on it and it has actual human chest organs, including lungs, and also what they think is the remains of a heart structure. And another person I'm going to be talking about a lot in this video is Dr. Gary Nolan from Stanford, who has looked at this in person, done tests on it, and cannot figure out what this is. And this is a very, very high up professor at Stanford in their DNA labs. And he's actually a professor of immunology and microbiology. And according to Dr. Nolan, he said that there is absolutely no doubt that this specimen is an actual organism and is not a hoax of any kind.
Quite clear that this is a real sample, this is a real specimen, this is not something somebody glued together. Anybody who thinks that this is something that is glued together, I challenge them to do it, right? And I challenge them to be able to subject such a thing to an X-ray and or CRT image and then let that pass the world's expert in bone dysplasias.
There are a lot of theories about what it is, but some people think that this is a human child, which I've never seen a kid like that, have you? And I've also never seen a child that is 6 inches tall.
Now, call me crazy, but I'm just a doctor. But I can tell you, I've taken care of a lot of children that are 6 and 8 year olds. I've never seen one 6 inches tall.
And they believe that if it was human, it would equate to a person that's around 7 or 8 years old. And it's 6 inches.
That's impossible.
6 inches.
Now, I want to make it clear, Dr. Nolan does not say that this is an alien, and either does Dr. Greer. Dr. Greer thinks it's a very big possibility. However, no one knows exactly what it is. No one is claiming to know exactly what it is, but the fact that the scientific community cannot figure out what this thing is really tells me that no one has seen anything like it, because it's not of our world, or what we think is our world. There's another doctor at Stanford named Ralph Lachman, and he is a clinical professor of pediatric radiology and a specialist in dwarfism, and he's looked at this and cannot determine that this is a dwarf of any kind, meaning, you know, in the movie Benjamin Button where it like ages backwards? There are some scientists who have suggested maybe it's something like that.
The genes that control for progeria, advanced aging, or dwarfism are showing no mutations. This is a 6 to 8 year old. Get it? Why isn't there something in there?
This does not match any of the symptoms fully of any type of dwarfism or genetic mutation. There's nothing like this that's ever been found or documented. This guy runs the International Skeletal Dysplasia Registry, and he cannot figure out what this is. He said it doesn't look like anything he's ever seen before.
The shock, I think, and the surprise was that Dr. Lachman had was that this specimen was clearly not fetal, right? Even though the size of the specimen would suggest that it's fetal, but that by comparing the growth plates to known standards, this is clearly between 6 to 8 years old.
A lot of scientists are baffled about why this is not on the news. So what's so weird about it is Dr. Nolan put it through tests at Stanford and determined that it has human DNA. Now get this is where it gets really strange for me. A Neanderthal is 99.5% a genetic match to human DNA. 99.5. Apes and chimpanzees actually match our DNA 96 to 97%. First of all, I don't know how anyone can deny evolution. I mean, come on. And the crazy part is that 9% of this humanoid unknown species is unregistered DNA, as in we don't know what it is at all.
9% of the genetic material is, quote, unmatching.
Be careful again when looking at the internet, because so many people have tried to debunk this and explain it, and it cannot be explained.
Now, this is on a computerized run at the best lab in the world out of Stanford, and it was checked 3 times. Is that all computer read error? Maybe. Is it all what's called DNA junk? Perhaps. We don't know. It's going to take years to go through what the computer kicked out into the trash can, unmatched DNA, to figure out what is in there. If we're lucky, a year or 2 to go through that, because it's 2 million base pairs of genetic material.
9% of this thing's DNA is unknown, just unknown. We can't match it to anything. A large percentage of it is human DNA. So I don't know, you guys, that's pretty mind-blowing. And if you have not heard about the panspermia theory, you should check out my husband Josh's video, because he did a great job of explaining it. You should really just watch Josh's video if you're interested, because he explains it so much better. But it's basically the idea that human DNA came from space, and there could be extraterrestrials with the same DNA as us because it came from space. And keep in mind, Stephen Hawking supports this theory, okay? Now let's go back to the theory that this is a small child. This thing is the size of a 22-week-old fetus. So a lot of people have thought maybe it's a fetus. Have you ever seen a fetus like that? Because I have not. And then there's the idea that this could be an actual alien. UFO investigator J.P. Robinson says that there have been other similar discoveries in Chile and Puerto Rico. He also said that there was another body found in the late 1990s in Russia, which was believed to be more mature than the Atacama humanoid, despite being of similar height and ratio.
We have videotapes and photographs of a creature that looks very similar to this one, that was a little more mature, maybe less than a foot tall, that was found in Russia, was kept alive for a number of months apparently. I found out about it in 1996, but too late. The FSB, which took the place of the KGB, had apparently confiscated it by then. So we have to be very careful. I'm not saying it's ET. I'm saying we don't know.
Well, if there's a second one, then I think all bets are off.
Its head has clearly been damaged, hit, shot, we don't know, but there's a big hole in the back of its head. Obviously, Dr. Greer believes that there's a big possibility that this is an alien, and a lot of the media claims that this has been solved, that this thing is a human, which is not true. It is still unknown. We do not know what this thing is. There is no proof at all that it is human, that it is an alien. We do not know. Now, one interesting theory that I actually haven't, I'm sure someone has thought of this, but I was thinking about it, and if it's 9% unknown DNA. Is it possible that this is some type of human-alien hybrid? The fact that it has some of our DNA and some that we don't know what it is leads me to believe that maybe this is some type of mix. There's a lot of extraterrestrial believers out there who think that aliens at one point roamed the planet, were integrated with humans, especially the Egyptians. If you look at their culture, I mean, it's really interesting stuff. I definitely need to make a video about it, but probably like at least 5 videos, because there is so much interesting things coming out of Egypt when it comes to extraterrestrials, you guys. It is insane. Personally, I think that this is an extraterrestrial. This may be a huge door to figuring out who we are and our history, and I believe that it's being hidden from us. I know that's really out there thinking. You definitely need to be open-minded to think like this, but it's almost like, I feel like me a couple years ago, before I knew so much about extraterrestrials, would probably think that this is fake, that it's, a human or can be explained somehow, just be like, yeah, that's probably gonna be solved anyway. I'm gonna go back to whatever I'm doing because that's too much for my little human brain to handle. But I'm telling you guys, look into it, okay? Do some more research, because I barely scratched the surface. You should probably know some of these things, because it's possible that we will encounter aliens in our lifetime. So I want to know what you guys think it is. I want to know why. But that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give me a like if you want to see more content on aliens. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.
The media that aren't well versed in genetic research said, oh, well, case closed. Case is just starting.